Hi there, Sagittarius. Thank you for joining me for your monthly forecast for January. And welcome to the new year. A new year which starts in sparkling fashion for you because Venus, the planet of attraction, is in your sign. This is going to increase your sex appeal. It can also push you to change your personal image quite soon in this new year. If you're someone who really likes to be very up to date and fashionable, there's even more impulse for you to splash out and make sure that you're hitting the January sales in a way which can just glamorize your appearance that much more. But when it comes to self-discipline over finances, that is going to be important. Saturn, the planet of structure, is now with you full-time this year, and at the turn of the year on your solar return is forging a positive link with the Sun. If you can be very, very focused on your skill set and how you're going to apply it, 2016 can bring you rich rewards. If you get distracted, however, by peripheral things, and especially by temptations, and particularly around the lighter, more social and joyous side of life, if you almost put too much investment in terms of energy, time, and even money into those areas, this month could turn out to be quite a distracting month in some ways. And the reason for this is partly because of the retrograde that's going to be going on with Mercury and your ruler Jupiter, but it's more to do with the role of Uranus. Uranus has been squaring up to Pluto in recent years, and there's been a lot behind the restlessness in the world at large, where we've seen people being very strident about their points of view, and especially when there's been more authoritarian regimes which have been trying to stop people having just basic democratic rights. So that's gone on in the global situation. In your personal situation, it may have made you really quite determined to have a good time, but almost to the nth degree, and there can be the temptation to do that again this month. And the reason for this is that Mercury moves into a chatty zone for you on the 2nd, but by the 5th goes into a retrograde. By the 10th it's back into Capricorn where the Sun is located. Mercury tracking backwards in this area can ask you to think again about your values. It may see you having some frustrations about money that's owed to you. You could find yourself really having to chase down someone who's being a bit difficult and evasive in paying you what you feel you're rightly owed. But also it could see you not really clear about your strategy around finances and the basic foundation of your world. Mercury then goes side by side with Pluto later in the month for 2 weeks. This is very important because it's going to be squaring up with Uranus too. Therefore your thinking can be very erratic, and it may be difficult to focus. Also Mars enters on the 4th into a more psychological part of your situation, which can stir up all sorts of old debris which may not be resolved as much as you think they are, and trying to seek escapism through splashing out money here, there and everywhere, trying to create distractions is not necessarily going to be the answer, Sagittarius. As your ruler Jupiter also rewinds from the 8th, you can't take your working or professional situation for granted. You have to work at it. If you do, you can overcome this retrograde, and by September something really firm, solid and improving will be shaping up nicely for you. And also Venus, well, that does meet Saturn at the start of week 2, and if you are wanting to look better and feel better, it's possible that that will attract some attention, but someone could also be a bit critical then, especially if they think you're almost going overboard. By the end of that week, however, your love life can be revived by a wonderful connection to someone who is different, who is very lively and fresh, and that can get your pulse racing. I think if you're single, you could get quite a lot of attention, and this could be quite a sociable month, surprisingly, for being so early in the year. The Sun switches sign on the 21st also into a very chatty, effervescent area, but I want you to also be aware that there's, down the spine of this month, a link between Mars and Neptune, and that's saying the more you can get in touch with what really drives you, your true motivations, and not get caught up in just that side of you that needs to be free to do your own thing at all costs, that can almost compete with another side of your nature which needs to have firm foundations and good emotional ones too. Don't neglect your emotional relationships in order to just pursue a hedonistic tie. And that can be particularly to the fore when there is the full moon of the 23rd. That could lead to a frank discussion, and it's one that can help you to understand how someone else feels. Perhaps you're going to need to articulate your ideas too. But there can be more energy, mental energy for you towards the end of this month. But it is just being aware there's a lot of pulls to just do things spontaneously on impulse, but all the time pushing the envelope in terms of consumption. And consumption is a good thing, but that old saying of everything in moderation may be something you want to keep in mind. It's been a real pleasure being with you. Good luck and goodbye for now.